I almost forgot about you. Oh my goodness. Well, welcome everyone. It's 6:30 in the afternoon on Monday, and this is O'Neill. Gail is upstairs cooking something, I think, or at least arranging something so that I can get something to eat a little while. I usually have to do everything, but thank you for those of you who are joining us now. I thank you. We'll have a conversation here of a few things over the next half an hour. Oh, just a second. Stay right there. Don't leave. And those of you who stick around, we're going to give away Works Axis reciprocating saw at the end of the program. So make yourself known. I love to see those little blue lights. What are they? Little messages? Oh, thumbs up things. I love to see those, and thank you for sticking around. I do have a couple of things I'd like to chat about today. And it's this. This is a tough time for bass and fishing. It's Why is it tough? Well, are the fish shallow? Are they on the way to deep water? Are they the bass? Are they already in deep water? The crappie are under the docks. That's easy. The brim are still bedding some. You can always catch them, and that's the tastiest critters of all, except for the walleye. But so are the largemouth bass, which is the #1 sport fish in the United States. Is that guy shallow now, or she? Is she shallow, or deep, or in between? So what do you do? Well, there's several things that you can do. Know this. If a shallow fish is a catchable fish, only because it's shallow and you're cast to it. A bass in transition, in other words, the bedding process is over, that fish moves out along the sides of the points or in the creek channels, and that fish stops at various places along the way. Did you know that? You should. I'm sure you do. Look, I don't know any more than you guys, but I get to talk about it a lot. He's not in deep water yet. If it is relatively deep, then he's at the top of the trees. If it's 70 feet deep and the trees come up to 22 to 25 feet, and then he's 15 feet deep. Why is that? It's because of the water temperature. There's so many things that come into play, and if you know those things, it'll give you some options when you're fishing. It will know this. Now, I want you to, a couple of things people are already writing in. Go ahead and share the video. I'd like to have a lot of people to choose from to give away the saw. And so share the video if you will. Put a lot of those little thumb things there. I love that. It makes me feel important. So I wish I could communicate with you, and I can to some degree. Gail is here. She's right behind my little cell phone here. And she can pass along to me some of the things that you might like to talk about, recommendations that if you're recommending that I not do this anymore, you can do that too. Because there are options to everything, and that's one of them, that I not do this any longer. And there'll be a day in the next few years in which Gail Olivia Williams and Donald O'Neill Williams will say, it was a good run.
Is that a promise?
That's a promise,
or
yeah. It's a little bit of both. And I'll say, hey, it was a good run, and I enjoyed it. And we all did. As a matter of fact, this week I met up with Jeff Allagood, my cameraman, editor, facilitator, and all that, and for a little update with for the third and fourth quarter, in which O'Neill gets to describe the shows that are coming up. And it was a little bit poignant, quite frankly, because that very well may be the last time that I have a production day with Jeff Alligood.
Because he's retiring.
Yeah, he retired. So, and we've been trying to figure out how long it's been that we were together in production.
About 27 years.
27, maybe 28, something like that, years, in which he was both the shooter, the cameraman, the facilitator. He did everything. All I did was just show up. But it was a little bit poignant to end the day, that end of that day a few days ago, because of the fact that it was just that day. We might not get together much. So, okay. I see Ann is writing about having access to docks and places like that at lakes. I can tell you that for someone like yourself, Ann, for families with children, I can't testify as to other states, but in Georgia, at least, there are dozens of state parks and sites and lakes that whereby the dock is there. It's a ramp to the dock, and all these lakes are just full of fish. They're stocked constantly. As a matter of fact, it's a good time to go for the brim, because the brim, the long-eared sunfish, the shell crackers, bluegills, and all of those, man, they're biting. Okay, the water temperature is perfect for them. In the territory, 68, 70 degrees, 74 degrees, and they really bite a lot. They're hungry little critters. It's a good thing that they don't get as big as some of these as bass do, because if you were to hook if a brim got to be 22 pounds, well, he would sink the boat. He'd rip the back of the boat out. Okay, where am I on this? Anything right? Help me out here.
A couple things, but before we forget about it,
okay.
We want to remind people of boating safety.
Oh.
In particular, when you're at the gas docks.
Mm-hmm.
And since you've never had an inboard boat, you
No.
don't really know a whole lot about that.
No.
But there's a lot of places where you can find that out. We had a really sad thing happen on
Did
Mother's
somebody
Day.
die during that
No, they
thing?
didn't die, but they were, the two of the children were badly burned,
Mm-hmm.
and the parents were burned, and you know they're doing okay, but they are big into wanting people to understand about boating safety and at the gas docks.
Okay. Well, what happened was, if you're not familiar with it, at Lake Lanier, which is the most visited Corps of Engineers lake in the United States, approximately 7 million people a year go to Lake Lanier. So they're at one of the marina docks, and they were gassing up, as I understand it, they were gassing up an inboard. And the fumes got to be too thick, or gasoline was spilled. There was some igniter. Maybe somebody started the boat when before they got done, and the fumes sparked. But a couple of people were injured, burned, and it was a bad deal. But that's very unusual. Obviously, could it have been avoided? Yes. But more than anything else, and you've heard me say this over and over and over again, bear with me because I'm going to say it again. Are you ready? Whether you're a bass fisherman, a skier, a houseboater, or a pontoon guy, or a high-speed rocket boat, alcohol and boat fuel don't mix.
And that had nothing to do with what happened.
Correct. That didn't have anything to do with what happened.
Yes. No. that had absolutely nothing.
But from a boating safety standpoint, don't drink beer or anything else and be on the lake. It doesn't work. It never has worked. And the number of accidents, I think at Lake Lanier, and I refer to that because it's close by, and that's been most of my experiences on Lake Lanier. And if you're tuning in right now from the Catskills, or whether you're on the Great Lakes in Minnesota, or wherever you're listening or watching from, I'm sure there are accidents at lakes all over the place. I'm referring to Lake Lanier, and what 1 or 2 people die a year at Lake Lanier from boating accidents. Number one, because there's so many people. Number two, because they're drinking. It doesn't work. It never will work. And part of that reason is the fact that there's very few qualifications, if you will, for driving a boat. You buy a boat, you put it in, you turn the key and run. And people are not tuned into any rules when you're drinking. You just don't drink, okay? Take my word for it. Yes, ma'am.
And again, that has nothing to do with the accident that happened on Mother's Day.
That we know of. It didn't have
nothing,
any. It wasn't any alcohol involved in the fire at Lake Lanier.
They don't even know what caused it at this point.
No.
But the point is, if you have an inboard boat, you really need to know what the rules are about blowers and things like that. You know, be sure that you're being safe. They said it could have been a wiring thing.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what those recommendations are. I've never owned an inboard or an inboard with an outdrive. I've never owned one of those, and I don't know what those things are. If I did, you know me. If I knew them, I would tell you.
But a bass boat would have different rules at the gas dock. Is that right? I mean, kind of.
Well,
you don't have to.
You know.
I mean, are there rules about
rules? There are recommendations, sure. Rules? I don't know. Rules? Fill it up with gas. Still trying to give us a warranty on that? Okay, 1996. You know, and when people call like that, if I do answer, most of the time I don't. But you know, it's just somebody trying to make a living. That's all. They're not looking to aggravate you by nature, but somebody's paying them to do that, so they're just trying to make a living, and making a living is good. Yes, ma'am.
It's too long for me to read, but someone who works in the boating repair industry.
Okay.
Go on O'Neill Outside Facebook page. I mean O'Neill Outside Facebook page, and read what he wrote, because it's
about the fueling.
Yes.
Okay. Go to visit O'Neill Outside Facebook page, and there's someone that's contributing some recommendations about fueling the inboards or inboard outdrives or whatever they call it. Okay. Yeah, all right, let's talk about something positive. Of course, it's positive if you don't drink. What?
Well, yeah, and it's positive if you don't get burned.
Yeah.
And they were on a family. It was Mother's Day. They were on a family outing, and it ended tragically. Except nobody died. Thank God.
Good. You know? Okay.
And they got a long road ahead of them, believe me. But they're going to be okay. They have a lot of good people looking out for them. Somebody wants to know about handicapped. Let me go back and find it. Handicapped places that you can fish.
Yeah, I referred to that earlier.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I wasn't down here.
State parks, Georgia state parks. These state parks and historic sites. They have cabins to rent. Every little lake is full of fish. Every lake has a dock on it that you can have access to, whether you're in North Georgia, South Georgia, all the way from the southwest corner. I got to tell you, if you ever have an opportunity to visit the state park at Seminole, now that's a classy place. That really Lake Seminole down in the southwest corner, and then with the state park near the what's the name of that swamp down there? See what I mean? Okefenokee State Park. unbelievable. Unbelievable. If you'll study a little bit about that, you realize that there used to be at that state park inside the Okefenokee Swamp was a logging facility 100 or so years ago. Can you imagine what the mosquitoes were like down there? Probably carry you away and make a meal out of you. Okay. What was that? Anything else before I jump to something else?
No.
Okay.
I got a lot coming in.
Here's an idea. Here's an idea, and I learned this from a fellow by the name of Junior Collis. He was a tournament fisherman many years ago. He was the first Georgian to qualify for the Bassmasters Classic way back in the 60s. An outstanding angler. He was an interesting fellow. I think he had parental problems. I think his dad died. He didn't go to school beyond about 12 or 13 years old. And but he earned a living, and he was an outstanding angler. And he taught me the following, which you can use or toss aside. But things like this that I'm about to tell you that I learned from Junior are things for you to keep in your pocket to use one day. Oh, I got one more thing we need to try before we leave this area of the lake. Around the bridges on the rivers, not necessarily the bridge in the middle of the lake, like it's Sinclair and Oconee and places like that, in which the lake is not so large that the bridge is 200 yards across. No, it's a narrow bridge, and that's where the river flows. During the summertime, of course, it's not a surprise to you that there are bass and stripers, well, not so many stripers, but brim and crappie, and they're bait fish and all, and they take up the various levels of temperature under the bridge. And they all find their places of safety, because the bridge and all the moss, not the moss, but the algae that grow on the concrete, that's the food source. It's the food chain. And Junior showed me one day, I was with him, he said, let's just sit here just for a minute, have a worm ready, have a plastic worm ready, a small enough to be a shad imitation, maybe like a jig. And you sit there and be still, and when other boats go under the bridge and they create wave action, okay, that changes the levels and the temperature. Things begin to mix. And that's when the largemouth or the spotted bass that are under the bridge, or crappie indeed, will search and find something to eat. They'll mix with the shad and the bait fish under there. That's when that boat leaves, that's when you make your cast. Will it work every time? Of course not. Have you tried it before? I'll bet you haven't. I never did until Junior showed it to me. Have I tried it since? Yes. Did it always work? No. But did it add a fish to the catch that day? Yes, it did. As I've always said, without any modesty whatsoever, over and over again, on the radio show and the television show, over the last 30+ years, the more you know, the more productive you can be, and the more the day will be enjoyed, the more productive. Now, if the day is not productive, if you only catch 6 bass instead of 60, it's not going to affect that. But if you want to catch one more, that's a good idea, I think. It worked for Junior, and it worked for me, and I've only told a handful of people that. So, now you know. Are you sharing this? You need to stick around now because, let's see, how much longer?
Oh, I didn't set the clock. I don't know what time it is.
This is a reciprocating saw by Works, and we're going to give this away. We do every week on the show at 6:30, but you have to be at a certain time. We will stop, and those people who are still on, that we'll pick somebody. We have somebody off-site that will pick the winner, and we'll send it to you. That thing cost about $100. That's not a toy.
Nice. I wish I had one.
You could use this one when I get done with it.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Now I just need to find something to reciprocate.
I have something in mind.
Get out of town.
I'm sorry, it was too easy. Yeah, that's. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm sorry I said that.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any idea when Bass Pro Shop is going to restock their firearms?
I do not. When Bass Pro Shop will restock their firearms when the manufacturers can build them. As fast as they can build them, they'll restock them. As fast as the people can make ammunition, shotgun shells, cartridges, believe me, they'll put them out there for sale. This is a capitalist economy, and if you can sell it and make money on it, they will manufacture it. Over and over and over again. And where's that iced tea? I'm drying out here. I didn't bring it with me, did I? Well, I'm a knucklehead.
Well,
did you bring here? Well, yeah, you got some iced tea.
That stuff's gonna keep you awake. Caffeinated tea is not good for you.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, but it sure is good.
Bojangles has decaf tea.
Yes, they have decaf. Decaf? Oh, no, I don't think they have decaf.
Yeah,
well,
decaf.
Bojangles has the absolute best sweet tea on the planet. I mean, it can't get any better than that.
Well,
but it's not decaffeinated. It's sugar-free. They have sugar-free tea, but not decaffeinated. How would you decaffeinate tea? Anyway.
I wish they did. I'd buy it all the time.
Somebody says, when I was stationed in Japan, probably in the service, the Navy, he said, a friend teaching me to sail taught me that trick. What trick was that, Norman?
Well, I think he's mentioned it up above.
Okay.
Hold on,
What was that? Can you
find
find it?
It was actually
About around the bridges?
no. If keep an empty Coke or a milk bottle with a top on it and a string around it.
Okay.
And then if somebody happens to go overboard and you can't get to them, that helps the rescuers know where the person went in the water and which way the water's flowing.
Because of,
well, so I don't know if he's referring to what happened on Mother's Day.
Oh.
But I know that they did have to get some people out of the water.
Okay.
When that happened, when that blew up.
Well, yeah, at Lake Lanier this week already, somebody jumped off a houseboat and didn't come up. They found the body later.
And think about why that happens. That's really scary. They jump in, they don't know.
And they don't come up.
Trees down there. There's fishing line. They get tangled up in it, and they don't come back up.
Well, and it might be a stretch, and there's nothing to be alarmed about, but there might be a stretch in, poor terminology. There might be, well, I'll say it again. There might be a stretch in judging that the submerged timber, whether it's at Lanier or any of these major reservoirs all over the East Coast, all the way to Texas, all up through Oklahoma. Some good lakes in Oklahoma. I fished Lake Texoma once for stripers. Oh, fantastic. Anyway, there's a lot of monofilament line down there that people have broken off. I don't think it represents a real danger, but it might be interesting for you to know that the half-life, you know what that means? The half-life of monofilament fishing line is 138 years. Now what that means is, in 138 years, that monofilament fishing line will decay 50%. Then it'll take another 138 years for it to decay another 50%. That's the half-life. So, when you, by necessity or whatever it is that you're doing, you remove monoline on a stream and a lake and a pond, no matter what, don't you dare discard that monoline on the bank, at the dock, in the water, no matter what. It goes in the garbage where it can be burned when you take the garbage to the dump, to the landfill. It's not a dump, it's a landfill.
Several people have recommended that I win the reciprocating salt.
Oh, yeah. You're a winner, all right. Okay. Remember that. Remember
Ken
that.
Burke said.
Who?
Ken Burke.
Okay.
And he says, boater safety course. There you go.
Absolutely. Wouldn't that be great? Yep. A boating safety course is necessary so that you can have a license to drive a boat, to pilot a boat. You need to have a boating safety course, like a hunter safety course to get your license. It would be an outstanding idea. More government intrusion, but nevertheless, if it saves one person from dying every year, good. I was watching a movie. Gail and I watch a lot of movies and television and things like that because we live up here on the side of the mountain. The closest grocery store or place to get anything to eat, and we, matter of fact, when this is over, we're going to Rocco's. Yeah. It's 18 miles to Rocco's, okay? So we watch a lot. I'm not politically inclined. I've had it with politics. I don't listen. I don't watch. I don't read anything about politics. So that leaves movies and television shows, old ones, that we watch over and over again. And I watched one of my favorite stories, and it was extremely well done, is with the one with Henry Fonda, on Golden Pond. And they had a segment in the program, and they're using a big, fast inboard, likely a Chris Craft, but it doesn't matter. And the young man, the 13, the 14-year-old, whatever his age was, in the movie, takes this boat out and just runs wild. He's just having a great time. And he doesn't have on a life preserver.
He's doing circles and...
Oh.
Yeah.
If you're a bass boater, if you're a ski guy, no matter what, if the engine is on, you should have your life preserver on. Matter of fact, I'll extend that, and then I'm almost done here, aren't I?
Well, I haven't heard the little...
oh.
There you go.
All right.
Okay, now the entries are over.
Entries are over.
Okay.
All right, now, it's going to be summertime. The kids are already out of school, and you're going to be going to state parks and places like that and campsites. You know, wonderful. I'm glad that you are, okay? If you got a little 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old kid running around the campsite having a big time, being involved in the campfire and cooking hot dogs or marshmallows or whatever the case might be, or fishing even, okay? They all need to have on a life preserver. Not a big orange thing like here that comes up to your ears. No, they have very comfortable life preservers now that will activate automatically if they're thrown in the water. A little 3 or 4-year-old kid, he can get in the water and be gone in a matter of a minute or two. They can't swim, and if they're out of sight, they can be in the water and gone before you know it. So life preservers are worn if the engine's on, or little kids at the campsites, little kids at the campgrounds. Okay. Or am I done?
Yeah,
I've been talking awful.
When I just saw a picture of Travis today, And it was when I was teaching him how to cast, because I did.
Okay.
And he's sitting out at the pool.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting with him, and he has on a life jacket.
Yeah.
Hello. He was,
Now, those
he was 18 months old.
Talk's cheap, but the 3 guys who jumped off the side of that houseboat at Lake Lanier, then one of them didn't come back. If he had had on a life preserver, he'd be alive.
Yeah.
Okay, one
You
more.
don't think somebody could have gotten caught up in wire or something?
I think probably, I don't know, but I think a lot of times when somebody jumps like that, they, because the other people can't see, they land wrong, and somehow or another, the breath gets knocked out of them.
Oh, yeah.
And the very first thing is,
And they drink in some water.
they inhale, and it fills them up with water like that, and they sink. Now, I really had something I wanted to leave you with today.
Well, how about, Karen has sent me the winner.
Okay, who's the winner
Okay,
today?
hold on, I gotta go back and find the message again. Okay, the winner that Karen has selected for some reason, I have no idea why, but she has selected, but now that I see his name, I think I might know why. His name is, and I hope he's still on here, hold on. Ken Burke.
Oh, yeah?
Burke.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what does he need to
He
do?
needs to send his information to Houston at o'neilloutside.com.
Okay,
And you have,
Ken Burke.
And he has 2 weeks to do that. We're making a limit on this.
There he is.
because-
He's still watching.
Is he still
Ken
there?
Burke.
Okay.
He's
great,
still there.
okay,
All right,
okay.
Ken, send your address, email address, and your address so that we can send you the saw
Yes.
to Houston at o'neilloutside.com.
And, well, obviously, Allison says he needs to send the message within 2 weeks, but
Yes.
he knows. I'm sure
He does now, yeah.
he knows about it.
I had something really good to end the show with.
So to tell Ken, he'll send the information to Houston at o'neilloutside.com, and Allison, who is on here right now, Allison Moravec, she will fulfill that order, and he will get it right away.
You'll get the saw.
Yeah.
What was it I was gonna?
And David Cargill said he was robbed. No, I was. I was.
I can't remember. I had something terrific to end the show with today. Well,
We're waiting. Was it something that you watched on a movie, maybe?
No.
No? I'm sure it was something that I said profound.
That you mean pass along a tip that you said?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm
Oh,
sure.
I see.
Wouldn't you think?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Well, that'll leave us something to talk about next week.
If O'Neill can remember.
Okay, be sure to watch us Saturday. Now, this is on Facebook, and on this afternoon or tomorrow, you can watch O'Neill Outside radio program on Facebook by going to O'Neill Outside. And be sure and join us Saturday morning, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. on WSB AM 750 and 95.5 FM. And we'll talk outdoors and fishing and hunting and all those things for a couple of hours this coming Saturday morning. Listen, hey, if you were getting up, I'd watch you. I'd listen, I think.
I don't believe that.
It's been going on for 28 years. You imagine that? Radio show for 28 years? All right, I need some, before I end today's program, I need to see some of those little blue fingers.
Oh,
or
you had
whatever
a
they
whole
are.
bunch of them earlier.
I did. I want some more.
Yeah. You need to
There's one. Yay!
Let's see.
Maybe I should do this another time. What do you think?
You mean one more time?
No, not do it. Oh, there's a bunch of folk. There you go. Oh, it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel worthwhile, because I can assure you this
Of course, most of the pictures are pictures of you.
Oh, well.
You like that?
Yeah.
See, I can just sit here and do that all day long.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, I
It's
know.
always your picture that comes up as the person who sent it.
Oh, I don't know how those things work. But
yes, we know that, baby.
yeah, I don't know. Okay. I had something really good.
And don't forget to share this video with your friends. Please like it and share it.
I wish I could knew what I was supposed. Well, okay.
Like and share.
Like and share.
Please. And do the little,
Do the little what? The blue
those
finger?
little things like that. See?
Yeah. Oh,
You
I
just
see.
sit there and just do that all day long.
No
Look.
kidding.
See him go? Look.
Michael Robertson said his wife gets him up early on Saturdays to cut the grass. And so we'll be hearing from you. Okay. Well, that's worthwhile. Good to you. Congratulations, because I can assure you, well, I don't know that, but probably a lot of people won't volunteer to cut the grass. Okay. I'm out. Share everything. Have a great week. And if you have an opportunity, take a kid fishing this week. Okay.
It's fine. What you need?
Take a kid fishing. So there you are. I'm out.